Hi, this is Yuli from Midstream, and I'm here to talk to you for 5 minutes about uniformity. Now, if you have any comments or suggestions, please put them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Likewise, if you disagree with anything I've said or you think I've missed or omitted something, we'd love to hear from you too. So please be active and engaged on the comments. We always love that. Now, uniformity, I think, is a very important measure and is often overlooked, especially in the context of lighting design for airports. Now, what is uniformity? Uniformity is basically a measure of how consistent a lighting is on a certain target area. And when it comes to illumination of aircraft stands, for example, or even container yards, it talks about the ratio between the average and the minimum light levels. And this is important because a consistent light, a uniform light, eliminates dark patches. Because if you remember in the ICAO Annex 14 guide, it talks about the requirement of having a uniformity of 0.25. That basically means 4:1. So if your average level, and it is required to be 20 lux or more, then your minimum levels have got to be a quarter of that, so 5 or more. So your lowest point, the lowest average point, the lowest point on the apron compared to the average should never be in a 4:1 ratio. So the average is 20, the lowest point can't be less than 5. If we're measuring an apron and we can see that a point of light is less than 5 lux, that means that we will not be able to pass the requirement for the uniformity. Now, why has that been brought in? Because actually you can easily achieve a 20 lux average by having a huge amount of light, maybe in the center or in the corner of an aircraft stand or a target area. But actually that'll meet your average because you'll have a very high amount somewhere and a very low, and the average will smooth out and give you over 20. But it won't be a very well illuminated apron. So we asked for 4:1 because that generally gives you a clear ability to see everything around the apron. Now, dark spots can often hide FOD. This is foreign object debris. It can hide hazards. If you have patchy light, it's also quite difficult to adjust the light. It makes your pupils work very hard, and it can be actually leading to something called fatigue. So pilots or ground crew can suffer from fatigue because they need to constantly keep adjusting their eyes to high lit and low lit areas. And so if we have a good uniformity, this is important. We also want to make sure that there's a smooth transition of light between the targeted apron areas and also the taxiways, because that transition is important for pilots, especially those flying for long hours during the hours of darkness. When they land, they have to have time to have their eyes adjust to a more stronger level of illumination. Now, I would also say that an important point is cameras. So CCTV cameras, security cameras, they really enhance any kind of bad uniformity. So if you have a very patchy apron there or a very patchy area in a port, that will be even worse when you look at things on camera. So let's say it's not only a requirement, it's also very good practice to have a high level of uniformity. Some customers and some applications require very high level of uniformity. And we worked on some projects in South America that for security required a ratio of 2:1. So the average levels were, for example, 20 or 30, and the minimums had to be 10 or 15. And that really was, in fact, for the security cameras that were working very hard to secure that aircraft apron areas. If you have any more questions about uniformity, how to calculate it, how to get it right, please contact us. We're always here to help. And we hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks very much for watching.